Okay, in this devlog, for the intro, we're actually going to cover blocking, nice, and enemy drinking, yes. Okay, and another thing, this series is actually going to be done. If you see on YouTube, it's going to be like 2.1, 2.2, stuff like that. That's why this video didn't have a story related thing. So it's just going to go over the AI. Once I've actually completed the point one, so I'm going to call it like 2 and do an animation for it. And like just to wrap up everything I've done. So now let's get into the AI itself. So obviously, as you can see, we have AI perception. This is the AI base. Every enemy in the game is gonna have this enemy base. What is it? It just has the sight on it. It just has like, when it loses sight, when it sees player, when it sees the actor, it should attack. I should say I should stop saying player, because why should I stop saying player? Let me just show you why. Because enemies will be able to see each other and react. As you can see, swing, block. Very nice, very nice. So, why this is important for 3 reasons. Yeah, why not? I'll go over that. I'll go over that before I go into that. It's a bit of a tangent, but you can see these little guys. The player will actually be able to summon creatures to actually fight alongside them. So obviously, I don't want the enemy to just be able to attack the player. That would render these guys, pretty much obsolete in terms of drawing aggro in case the player might want them to. And obviously, this is just one of the other many that I've created. I do have this little guy that I made, but let me show you. The rig is a bit weird, but for some reason, right, like I made this in Blender. Uh, it squelches and scratches. Like I have an idle state for it and everything, but it just breaks. Like during frame 0, for some reason it breaks. I just don't understand how I can fix that. But if somebody knows, hopefully they can leave it in the comments. But yeah, I don't know how to fix it. But let's stop, throwing a tangent here, and let's go over the actual main main enemy AI. So we're talking about blocking first. Actually, yeah, we'll talk about blocking first. So how does the player know that? How does the enemy know that the player or other actors are blocking? Now, this is a big one. We're using a blueprint interface. Let's get that. Okay, blueprint interface. What is a blueprint interface, you ask me? It effectively just runs a one thing. We get a variable from what the actor sees, right? What are they sensing? Who are they sensing? If the enemy senses this guy, I want the enemy to run a check saying, is this guy attacking variable? Is that attacking variable true? But how are we gonna get that guy's attacking variable into the enemy's AI? You ask me. So we're just calling is attacking, right? If I go over to the base actually, because I think that more so allow you to understand what I'm saying. Is attacking, nice. So if the enemy, actually, I think I'll just keep it on the player. This is very weird. Sorry. If the enemy is attacking, I want this variable to be true, so that the enemy that they are attacking to know that they are currently attacking. So in the play sequence, you can see that I did basic attacks. This basic attack, we're going to toggle it to true, so when the player hits like left click, then the enemy that they are attacking is going to know that they've fired off something, and after a couple seconds we're going to clear that so that it's false. Now, how exactly did we do that? Now, there are things called behavior trees. Behavior trees are just, AI controllers. They're just a sequence of events that happen that the enemy will, adhere to. Say for instance, AI sense, AI move to, like, let me go to let's go to AI base, okay? See how over here we can have AI move, AI move to. So enemy C player, enemy move to player. Okay, just simple stuff like that. But in the behavior trees, we can actually go even deeper. So that if I want, say for instance, the enemy to sense, are you attacking me? If you are attacking me, abort everything they're currently doing and go into blocking state. Now I'm gonna just reiterate that because I don't think I explained it that good for certain people who actually are not familiar with behavior trees. So behavior trees work from left to right. Anything on the left hand side will have priority. So we're using a selector node. Then it runs into the combat. It runs into run a behavior here, but the combat state. We're gonna go is weapon on. If you don't currently have a weapon equipped, so we want them to equip the weapon. But that's you can see that over there. Now over here we're running is attacking. What is this attacking? I've already said that we're getting the decorator, we're getting the actual variable from the player. We're getting is attacking. Now decorators are booleans, effectively just true or false statements, but they're just called decorators, just you know spice things up a little bit. But they're just true or false statements. They can hold a variable on content. They can hold floats. They can hold like more stuff. We use a float in here, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, effectively they just is the player attacking or is the target that we are locked onto attacking? If that is true, then we should go into the states. Now, how have I done this? How have I got it to abort? Observer aborts. Basically, what are we running currently? Are we running they should Mewtwo or are we running the attack? If we're running those, we want that to immediately stop and just attack and just block effectively. So we're making sure that they're focusing, locking onto the target so that they can actually block. Cooldowns, I'm sure you know what cooldowns are. It does it. It has to wait a certain amount of time before it can do it again. We also have to lowest priority so that it will only abort things in this section because things over here take more priority. Okay, that is. So we're gonna cover healing in this segment of the video, which is slightly similar to the blocking one, but slightly different at the same time. In both, I didn't cover in blocking, but in both, it's crucial that we use an event dispatcher. Event dispatcher is just how the easiest way, effectively, to communicate between two blueprint classes. I want to say to communicate with anything. You can communicate with widgets. You can communicate with anything inside Unreal. You can communicate with them with event dispatches without doing hard casting. So we're using event dispatcher to effectively say, "Are you done?" Like if we call it, then it means it's finished, right? Effectively, so we're binding this event to it. This event is the healing. So we're gonna cover healing right now. So I briefly mentioned in is attacking that we're using dispatch decorators. Decorators can be anything, but they're true or false. At the end of the day, they are true and false. Can we go into healing? Yes or no? Okay. So this event dispatch, I also mentioned about the floats, but we're gonna get into that right now. We're getting the current HP of the enemy base. We're seeing if it's less than or equal to the threshold. The threshold being 50%, but this is an instance editable. Instance editable just means we can actually set it here. So are we less than 50%? If we are, then heal. But now that we've covered, we've already covered decorators and cooldowns. I want to cover tasks. What are tasks? Tasks are effectively just, custom events. You know what I'm saying? With this custom events, hello custom event. They're effectively custom events, but they are a lot larger. I would say they are more. Actually, no, they're more like override functions. They're more functions more than anything. What are they? We're performing a conditional check. All right. Oh, we're in the wrong thing. This is HB. We should be in this one. We are doing an event. Receive execute AI. If you during of execute, you need to also make sure you do a finish execute. Finish execute just make sure it actually like completes. Right. We don't actually want this over here. Or else if it fails to cast, it's just gonna be execute. We don't want to do that. But yeah, we're we finishing the execution. This way actually goes into the next ones over here. I already mentioned that left to right, but how do we get it so that if the cooldown here is finished, we want to instantly go into it. Now, left to right. If if a behavior tree has something on the left, it will always do it first, and then it will get to the right hand side. It works left to right. We have it set to observer bots. Both means that it will immediately cancel whatever it's doing and go into the HP healing. We want that so that if no matter where it is, no matter how badly damaged it is, it's gonna always go for heal. Healing is set to 20-second cooldown. I'm gonna probably put that to 10 for the main game because I think 20 seconds is too long. So now the healing task. We've talked about. Oh, actually, did I mention? I think I mentioned dispatches. Dispatches are very crucial, so that we're calling it here, so that it actually finishes the execute, right? So when we call drinking finished, anything that we've binded to it is gonna get called, right? So here, this drinking thing, here's out for. Oh, have we called drinking? Have we called out this dispatcher? If we've called it out, it's gonna actually just straight up finish the executions. That's why we have it on play montage completed or interrupted. Uh, so that this way it does that. Now, what is over here? Where exactly are we calling the healing function? We're calling that on notify begin. What are notify begins? I shall get that real quickly. We're just gonna go for enemy. Draw that down. We're gonna go to. Probably just cut this thing out. So now, what are notifies? Okay, notifies are these things that you can go on a montage. They have to be montage. You add a notify, and then you can actually call the notify from the montage. That's effectively what we do. So you see, we don't have a note over here. We want that the moment this gets called, that's when this point right here is when the enemy should heal itself. Nowhere else. Nowhere else over here. Nowhere else over here. This is just so that it looks a bit more cleaner. It looks like yeah. That's when obviously it drank the potion. No, that is, and yep, obviously left to right. Yep, that's effectively how we're doing the healing and the blocking for the game. The next thing I'm gonna actually go over is combination attacks, right? How should they attack the player? Okay. That's me melee. Let me try the melee again. Obviously, if you guys want me to cover like exactly how event dispatches work, and like no, not even exactly, just like custom recommendations, I'll do that too. But obviously, you can see that right now they're both gonna go for me. Like they're just gonna get muddled up together. They didn't see that guy's glitching because he's going from a point, but he can't get to that point because the other guy's also there. The next one we're gonna do, so this guy should attack first, and then that guy should actually come and attack me. But you see, he's moving him, he's forcing him somewhere else. So we're gonna go over that in the next one.